Everything's coming up. Blood Bowl. Yeah, I bet there's a lot of other tabletop role-playing game commentators out there, but who else sings to you at least once a day? Me! That's who, the OG GM, coming to you live on a lovely spring morning, fingers crossed. It's 8 o'clock in the morning here at Site B on this, the 20th day of June in the year of our Lord Hello Kitty 2023, and it's Tuesday, which means it's time we take a break from Wizards of the Coast / OSR nonsense to take a look at the other company's nonsense. Games Workshop. Gotta love Games Workshop, constantly producing stuff. And, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, comparing them to, say, Wizards of the Coast, they're not as problematic. But as predicted, number one story, what? There's a new edition of Warhammer 40K coming out? Mind blown. Mind blown. That they would do this. Again, Crusade was one of the biggest additions to Warhammer 40K in the last edition, allowing you to link your games together with emergent narrative and a persistent army that steadily earned glory, honors, and scars aplenty. Well, they're continuing it into a new edition where things are going to be changing slightly, but that doesn't mean that your loyal, long-serving veterans need hang up their augmented bolter ammunition. Your Crusade force from the previous edition can be carried into the new one with a simple document available for download below. Okay. So this is not that there is a new version of Warhammer 40K coming out, even though we know there is a new version of Warhammer 40K coming out. This is just a new version of the Crusade rule set, which was a rule set inside the larger Warhammer 40K rule set. It's a play style, kind of like, you know, Magic the Gathering has normal Magic, and it has like Highlander / Commander Magic. Then it has like pop, you know, just different ways to play out scenarios. So the Crusade was just one way to do Warhammer. But basically it was at the beginning of the Crusade, you locked in your team, and this is my team. Whatever happens to my team from now to the end of the Crusade, you know, if guys die, I can't play them next time. So whatever. Cool. Sort of adding a little RPG campaign world building to Warhammer 40K. I suppose they'll eventually do it with fantasy too. And of course, there's going to be a huge book and a bunch of new cool looking figures that I can never paint as well as these guys. I mean, some of the paint jobs we've seen since we started this were not that impressive. But thanks for letting us know this, Warhammer. What else is going on in the world of stuff? Oh, click that one. Where was it? War articles. What's all the news and features? Okay, we knew there was something else coming up, and here it is. Blood Bowl. Blah 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 Blood Bowl. Did you know Blood Bowl was made in 1986? It was a parody of an American football, and the game was first released in 1986 and has been re-released a lot. And new editions ever since. Blood Bowl is set in sort of an alternate version of Warhammer Fantasy, where you've got typical fantasy elements, but, you know, it's basically weird fantasy football that has been turned into both video games, board games, and just card games. I actually thought Blood Bowl was older than 1986. I mean, 1986, 1996, 2006, 2016, 2026. It'll be 40 years old in 2026. So for 40 years, is this the original fantasy football? Here's a thought. The next time somebody asks you about fantasy football and you have no idea what they're talking about, just start talking about your Blood Bowl team. That'll confuse them. Which begs the question, did Blood Bowl exist before fantasy football? And the thing is, I swear, 1986, I know I've heard about Blood Bowl before 1986, because I remember people talking about Troll Ball in like 84. No, I mean, you know, probably the idea of some version of a sporting event being conducted in fantasy type worlds or sci-fi worlds is not new. So collective unconsciousness rules say that, yeah, probably somebody was doing something like it before the Warhammer people made it their thing. But so, yeah, congratulations for almost 40 years of fantasy football. And in order to, now I got to look it up. Which was first. So I'm going to look that up. Blood Bowl is announcing a new expansion called the Gutter Bowl expansion. Takes Blood Bowl to the mean streets of the old world. So street football. How is this different than normal Gutter Bowl? Nothing really, except it's, being played on the streets of a city as opposed into a Warhammer Blood Bowl normal map. And then so you have extra hazards to deal with, like fruit carts or police officers or, rain, changes of rules, markets. There'll be facades for market stalls, stuff like that. There'll be things like washing lines, probably be new figures and new teams and more new maps. But sure, cool. Gutter Bowl takes Blood Bowl to the mean streets of the old world. So it takes the idea of the scene with the guys playing hockey on the roof in Clerks, or football and hockey in the streets from Wayne's World. Car. And moves it to fantasy, which means there's inevitably got to be a scene in every game where somebody crashes through a window or through a fruit cart or through two guys carrying chickens to and from a truck, right? That's got to happen at least once every Gutter Ball game. And what else is going on in the world of Warhammer? Okay, so we've got the new Crusade coming out. We've got the Gutter Ball expansion coming out. We've got some new War of Sigmar stuff coming out. We've got a new dude. This is a new dude. His name is Ogre Warhulk. And it looks like, that doesn't seem right, perspective-wise. This guy is not tall enough to be carrying this guy on his back. At least it doesn't look like that. I like this idea. We've seen this before in several other types of variations of figures. Now, I would say maybe it's actually just supposed to be he's standing in front of this, but you can see that there's this post doesn't continue down to here, which gives me the impression that the idea is this guy is strapped to this guy's back so he can move around and do stuff, command, while this guy carries him, except this guy's proportions are not large enough to carry that guy. So, yeah. I'm nitpicking, but, magic. But still, yeah, just proportionally that wouldn't work. It's a cool idea, but proportionally that figure's not big enough to support that guy on his back. But cool idea. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Free combat patrol rule download led you fight fast balanced skirmishes in new 40K. So there's a free download available if you are curious to find out about the world of Warhammer 40K without investing the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars you're going to need to invest. It looks like they've got a new free download available on the Warhammer site that lets you jump into the skirmish rules really quick. Of course, you still need an army unless they give you rules of how to use everyday toys, like to make armies, right? Because otherwise, yeah, great. I've got free rules. I still need to spend $2,000 to buy an army, which will be completely useless when you re-release the new rules because you're always releasing new. Last, yeah, we know Warhammer. It's got its goods and it's got its bads, but God love the people who can paint these things. If nothing else, it's created a whole new genre of art. Yeah. That's it. That's what's going on in the world of Warhammer on Warhammer Tuesday. Is Warhammer your thing? Let me know. You want to talk more about Warhammer? Let me know. If you never want to hear me talk about Warhammer on Tuesdays ever again, let me know. We'll continue this next Tuesday because, you know, I want to cover as much news as I can with as little resources as I have. And hopefully you appreciate that I do this for you guys. Now let's take a break because what? News from Wizards of the Coast? Gosh, it must be a day that ends in Y because we can't have nice things. Talk to you later.